Like Bhagavad Gita in Mahabharata, Yaksha Prashna in Mahabharata is also utmost useful for leading a great life at the current situation. The episode known as Yaksha Prashna in Mahabharata relates to the exchange of questions and answers between Yama in the guise of a Yaksh who poses 126 difficult questions to Yudhishthira, who gives the most fitting answers to those questions. One day during Pandavas' life in forest, Yudhishthira felt very thirsty and there was no water in sight to quench his thirst. Sahadeva, the youngest of the Pandavas, climbed up a tree and spotted a lake at a distance. When he reached the lake to bring water for Yudhishthira, he heard a voice that said, "Beware! Don't touch the water before you answer my questions." Without paying to the cautionary, Sahadeva started collecting water from the lake. No sooner had he touched the water than he fell dead on the bank of the lake. Seeing Sahadeva not returning, Nakula was sent to search for him. He too met the same fate as did his elder brothers Arjuna and Bhima, who followed him. Finally, Yudhishthira went to the lake and he was shocked to see all his brothers dead. Yaksha revealed to him his terrible form and warned him that he should answer his questions before helping himself to the water in the lake. Yudhishthira gave him appropriate replies and Yaksha was pleased. Then, Yaksha said that he would bring back to life one of his brothers. Yudhishthira wanted Nakula to be brought back to life. Yaksha asked him why he was asking Nakula, the son of Madri, to be brought to life instead of Bhima or Arjuna, who were his own brothers, being Kunti's children. Yudhishthira replied that his father had two wives, Kunti and Madri, both of whom he treated equally as his mothers. As he, Kunti Devi's son, was alive, it was only just and equitable that Nakula, the eldest son of Madri, should also be alive. Yaksha, who was none other than Yama, the god of death, was very pleased with Yudhishthira's attitude and brought back to life all the brothers of Yudhishthira. Yaksha Prashna is a conversation between Yaksha and Yudhishthira in Yaksha Parva, under chapter 113 of the Mahabharata. In this video we will come to understand all the questions asked by Yaksha and the respective answers given by Yudhishthira from the great epic of Mahabharata. There are nearly 87 songs covering 126 questions with 126 answers. Yaksha asks in the first song, who makes the sun rise? Who keeps the sun shine the entire day? Who causes the sun to set? And in whom is the sun established? Yudhishthira answers in the second song that Lord Brahma makes the sun rise, the god-like Surya Deva keeps the sunrise the entire day, the dharma or the goodness causes the sun to set, truth is the one the sun is established. In the third song Yaksha is asking, by what does one become learned? How one acquires something very great? How can one acquire intelligence? Yudhishthira answers in the fourth song, one become learned by Shrutis, or the scriptures which revealed. One acquires greatness by abstinence from sensual pleasures, that is, by doing tapas, and said, one can acquire intelligence by serving the old. Yaksha is asking, what constitutes the divinity of Brahmans? What is pious practice in them? What is human attributes of Brahmans? What is unholy practice as considered by Brahmans? Yudhishthira answers, study of Vedas or scriptures is the divinity for Brahmans. Their asceticism or abstinence from sensual pleasures constitutes pious practice for a Brahman. Death is an attribute for Brahman. Insulting anyone is considered to be a sin caused. As per Brahman religion, Yaksha is asking, what constitutes the divinity of Kshatriyas? What is pious practice in them? What is human attributes of Kshatriyas? What is impious practice in Kshatriyas? Yudhishthira answers, arrows and their weapons, and winning war is considered the divinity in Kshatriyas. Celebration of sacrifices is considered as pious practice in Kshatriyas. Fearlessness is the main attribute for Kshatriyas. Refusal to protection of dharmam is considered the most impious practice in Kshatriyas. Yaksha asked, what is value to those who cultivate? What is value to those who sow? What is value to those who wish the prosperity in this world? What is value to those who are highly visionary? And Yudhishthira answered this way, rain is the value to those cultivate. Seed is the value to those sow. Preacher and practitioner of dharmam is the value to those who wish to prosper in this world. Offspring is the one which is of most value for a visionary about living and dead. Yaksha asked, what person who enjoying all the objects of sensing, breathing but yet is not alive? Yudhishthira answered, a person who do not offer anything to gods, guests, servant and pithrus or ritual for forefathers etc. are claimed to be dead, though has life with breathing. Yaksha had trivial question like, what is heavier than earth? What is higher than heaven? What is running fast than wind? What is more numerous than grass? But Yudhishthira had cool answers such as, mother is heavier than earth, father is higher than heaven, mind is faster than wind, thoughts are said to be most numerous than grass. Yaksha had some generic questions also like, what does not close eyes while sleeping? What is unable to move just after birth? What is without heart? What swells on its own energy? Yudhishthira the knowledgeable answered this way, fish do not close eyes while sleeping, egg cannot move after birth, stone do not have heart, river swells on its own energy. Yaksha asked many questions about friendship. Who is friend of the exile? Who is friend of the householder? Who is friend of the sick? And who is friend of one who is about to die? Yudhishthira answered them all. Anyone as companion will become a friend during exile. Wife is the friend for householder. Physician is the only best friend while one is bedridden. Charity is the best friend for a person who is about to die. Yaksha asked, who is guest of all creatures? What is eternal duty? What is Amrita? What is in the universe? Yudhishthira answered, Agni or fire is the guest of all creatures. Eternal duty is to follow regulations in Sanatan Dharmam and do homam or yajna or to sacrifice. Milk of cow is Amrita. Universe consists of air alone. About immortality, Yaksha asked most insignificant questions. What is that which stays alone? What is reborn after its birth? What is remedy against cold? What is the largest field? And Yudhishthira answered with clarity, the sun stays alone, the moon is reborn after birth, fire is the remedy for cold, earth is the largest of all fields. Yaksha asked, what is highest shelter of virtue? What is highest shelter of fame? What is highest shelter of heaven? What is highest shelter of happiness? Yudhishthira answered, liberty is the highest guard of virtue, gift is the highest guard of fame, truth is highest guard of heaven, good behavior is the highest guard of happiness. Yaksha asked about a man's needs by asking, what is the soul of man? Who is that friend bestowed on man by the gods? What is man's chief support? What is man's chief refuge? Yudhishthira instantly answered, sun is the soul of the man, wife is that friend bestowed on man by gods, clouds are the man's chief support, charity is the only chief refuge for a man. Yaksha asked about possessions. What is best of all laudable things? What is most valuable possession? What is best of all gains? What is best of all kind of happiness? Yudhishthira answered this way, skills in one's capacity is the best laudable thing for a human, knowledge is the most valuable possession, health is the best of all gains attained, contentment is the only best thing for a man to live happily. About duty, regret and alliance, Yaksha asked, what is the highest duty in the world? What is that virtue which always bears fruits? What is that if controlled, leads to no regret, with whom alliance cannot break? Yudhishthira answered, refrain from injury is the highest duty, rites ordained in Vedas always bear fruits, mind if controlled, leads to no regrets, alliance with good, can never break, Yaksha asked, with respect to giving up something, what if give up? Make one agreeable, what if give up? Leads no regret, what if give up? Makes one wealthy, what if give up? Makes one happy, Yudhishthira answered. If pride is given up, it makes one most agreeable. If anger is given up, it will lead to no regret. If desire is given up, it makes a man most wealthy. If greed is given up, it makes a man most happy. Of all about gift, Yaksha asked, why one has to gift to Brahmins? Why one has to gift to actors, dancers? Why one has to gift to servants? Why one has to gift to king? Yudhishthira answered, Brahmins are gifted for keeping up the religious merit. Actors and dancers are gifted for fame. Gift to servant is the one that will support them for life. Any gift to king can give maximum protection to the kingdom. Yaksha asked, with what is world enveloped? What is that thing owing to, which it cannot discover itself? Why one fail to go to heaven when friends are abandoned? Yudhishthira answered, the world is enveloped with darkness. Darkness not permit a thing to show itself. Connection with world makes one fail to go to heaven. Greed and lust will make friends abandoned. About death, Yaksha asked, which one is considered as dead? Which sacrifice is considered as dead? Which shraddha or puja is considered as dead? Which kingdom is considered as dead? And Yudhishthira answered in a real convincing way that one having want of wealth is considered dead, one having no gifts for Brahmins is considered as dead, shraddha that is being performed by the aid of a bad guru, or guru without knowledge. A kingdom without stringent law, which protects dharmam, is said to be a dead kingdom. Yaksha asked, what is sign of asceticism? What is true restraint? What is forgiveness? What is shame? Yudhishthira told that staying in one's own religion and practicing them strictly is the best sign of asceticism or self-discipline. Restraint of mind to practice only good deeds is the best of form of restraint. Forgiveness consists in endurance of enmity, withdrawing from all unworthy acts is nothing but keeping away from shame. Yaksha asked many questions like, what is true knowledge? What is tranquility or peace? What is mercy? What is simplicity? Yudhishthira, wasting no time, replied, true knowledge of divinity is to follow the Supreme Personality of Godhead Shri Krishna. True tranquility of heart and peace within, wishing happiness for all living creatures is the best form of mercy. Calmness of heart and true contentment is the best form of simplicity. Yaksha asked, which enemy is invincible? What is incurable disease? Who is honest? Who is dishonest? Yudhishthira answered, anger is the invincible enemy. Greediness is an incurable disease. Wishes wellness for all creatures is always honest. Unmerciful beings are dishonest always. Yaksha asked, what is ignorance? What is pride? What is idleness? What is grief? Yudhishthira answered, no understanding about one's regular routines and duties is ignorance. The one doing conscious efforts in attaining and accomplishing one's duty is worthier for pride. Not discharging one's prescribed duties is the meaning of idleness. Ignorance or lack of knowledge of truth leads to grief. Yaksha asked, what is steadiness? What is patience? What is real ablution or cleansing oneself? What is charity? Yudhishthira answered, staying in one's own religion is the matter of steadiness. Patience consists in control of the senses to do only good deeds. Washing the mind, clean mind without impurities in mind is real ablution. Protecting all creatures is true charity. Yaksha asked, who is learned? Who is atheist? What is desire? What is envy? Yudhishthira answered, one who knows his duties are said to be learned. One who is lacking knowledge or awareness about good deeds is the atheist. Desire is due to object of possession. Grief of heart is envy. Tricky questions from Yaksha are, what is hypocrisy? What is wickedness? What is grace of gods? Steady answers from Yudhishthira are, setting up of religious standards is hypocrisy. Speaking bad of others is wickedness. Fruits of our gifts, attained through charity, is the grace of gods. The great questions by Yaksha. What one gains on speaking agreeable words? What one gains on acting with judgment? What one gains having many friends? What one gain if devoted to virtue? And Yudhishthira gave brilliant replies like, one becomes acceptable to all. By speaking agreeable words of good deeds, one obtains whatever one seeks. Through giving right judgments, one lives happily. Through having many friends, one obtains a happy state in next world. By devoting oneself to virtue. Wonderful question by Yaksha is, who is truly happy? The most relevant reply by Yudhishthira may change our lives. From today, Yudhishthira replied, there are 5 rules to follow in order to lead a truly happy life. One who avoids hotel food will live happily. One who refrains from tamas food or non-veg food is also happiest. One who has no debt is still happier. One who does not come out of home for his livelihood is the most happier. And finally, one who does not overstrive for material possession is the most happiest of all. Yaksha asked, what is most wonderful? Yudhishthira answered, every day numerous living entities are dying and going to the abode of Yama. Yet one has a liberty to think or believe that one can and will live remain forever as immortal. What can be more wonderful than this thought? Wonderful, said Yaksha, and Yaksha asked, what is the path? Yudhishthira answered, the best path is to follow in the footsteps of the pure devotees or Mahajans and Siddhar, whose hearts are full of real truth regarding dharmam. Yaksha continued with questions such as, what is the news? Or what is the real situation in the material world? Yudhishthira gave a practical answer to this question and said that this world full of ignorance is like a pan. The sun is fire, the days and nights are fuel. The months and the seasons constitute the wooden ladle. Time is the cook that is cooking all creatures in that pan. With such aids, this is the real news of what is happening in the material world, which is a miserable place full of ignorance about dharma, artha, kama. Yaksha asked, virtue that is dharmam, artha that is profit, and kama which is desire, are opposed to each other. How they can coexist harmoniously? Yudhishthira had a very simple answer and wondering answer that they can coexist only if one having a virtuous wife. Yaksha asked, who is condemned on what acts to everlasting hell? Yudhishthira gave a long answer to this question. There are 3 characters as per Yudhishthira who will go to everlasting hell. They are, if one promises a poor Brahman a charity, but upon his arrival refuse to give him; one who speaks falsehood of Vedas, scriptures; one who despite possessing, does not give because of greediness. Yaksha asked, what constituents the real Brahman? Birth, study, family, learning or behavior? Yudhishthira answers, only behavior. This shows that a true Brahman is born through behavior and not by birth. A person born as Shudra can also become a Brahman by practicing Brahman, and a true Brahman by birth will become a Shudra by such bad behavior. Yaksha asked, who is true man, possessing all kinds of wealth? Yudhishthira answered, one who has overcome the dualities of material life, that is, happiness, sadness, friend, enemy, love, hate, heat, cold, etc., possesses all kinds of wealth. Yaksha had yet another generic question that said, what is poison? Yudhishthira answered, requesting someone for something is poison. Yaksha asked, what is proper time for puja or shraddha? Yudhishthira, being a true follower of prayers, answered, there is no proper time for shraddha or puja. When one wants, one can, if possible, find a good guru. One can do puja to Lord Hari any time. One can take his name any time. Yaksha asked a great question, what is food? Yudhishthira answered that cow is the root of all foods. Cow gives milk, which produce butter, ghee, which is used in yajna, sacrifices. The sacrifices are causes of clouds, which bring rain. Rice is essential for producing food from seeds, crops. This is the conclusion of Yaksha Prashna, and all the very best for you to follow the footsteps of Dharma, as told by Yudhishthira. Thank you.